We're looking at live shipping traffic from the Strait of Hormuz. I'm Tyrone Keys. Today, I want to talk about how the conflict in the Middle East is impacting our personal economies. Now, let me preface this by saying we're not going to get into the merits for or against the conflict. We are looking at this strictly from an economic standpoint with what's going on. So, we see here that we've got the Strait of Hormuz. You're probably familiar with this. A lot of oil conveyance goes through this route, but also there are other goods that traverse this route as well. So it's not just oil. So to the extent that this turns into a choke point and ships can't get through and have to be faced with the prospect of possibly going all the way around the southern tip of Africa, we're looking at increases in the prices for the goods carried on those ships that have to make that longer trip. And oil may be one of those. Why would the price increase? Well, quite naturally, because you have to pay the crews for a longer period of time. You have to expend more fuel for the ship, more food for the crew, more insurance. Okay, so those things tend to add up. Now, here's something that occurred over the weekend that we need to take a look at. Iran fired a missile that had some really concerning range on it. And that roiled markets because the thinking was, wait a minute, this was one thing when it was confined to the Middle East. So Iran was striking out and they were hitting other Middle Eastern capitals like, well, they haven't messed with Jordan to my knowledge yet. Um, Bahrain. What's the one that everybody likes to go to? Anyway, several of the Emirates have been hit by strikes from Iran, but that was local, so to speak. The thinking now, since Iran fired a missile at Diego Garcia way down in the Indian Ocean, the thinking now is wait a minute, they have capabilities that many were not aware of, capabilities that could reach out and touch New Delhi, India, Moscow, Berlin, Munich, Rome, and possibly even London and Paris. Now, that is close to intercontinental ballistic capability. And so the markets looked at that and say, hey, wait a minute. No one was aware of this. Seems like they do have capabilities that heretofore were just rumors. And you can see that if London, a major financial capital in this world, is possibly in range of Iranian munitions, this changes things. It also adds an additional trepidation. What if they were able to enrich enough fissile material to create a nuclear weapon and put that on top of one of these long range rockets? Then that would definitely change the game. So that's why you see markets dealing with this in a way that shows a lot of fluctuation. Now, when markets go down, I try to tell people, look, if Walmart had a 20% off sale, you would not stay away from Walmart. You would go to Walmart, right? Investing psychology, though, is kind of different. When markets dip, people tend not to see, retail investors especially, tend not to see that as a buying opportunity. They see it as, um, a cause for apprehension. Okay. And it's also important to note here, I'm not giving you any investment advice. All right. That's not what this is. We're just exploring global events in relation to, um, again, our personal economies. So, one thing that we have been very successful at doing for our clients is placing them in vehicles that have indexed strategies. All right. So that there's a floor of 0%, That way, let's say the markets dip into the negative, clients in those index strategies do not feel that. So it gives you some peace of mind, ability to sleep at night. That's one of the advantages of uh, an indexing strategy. Okay, let's listen to a little sound about how the UK is viewing this. Now, remember, London could be in range of one of these Iranian missiles, and London is a financial capital within this world.
So, to our top story. Overnight, the US President, Donald Trump, warned Iran they have 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz, or...
Well, it comes as Israel accuses Iran of deliberately targeting civilian areas as missile attacks struck 2 Israeli cities last night.
Yeah, nearly 100 people were injured in the southern Israeli city of Arad, 10 of them injured seriously.
Well, the IDF warns that the Iranian ballistic missiles used in the attack on Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean were designed to hit European capitals.
In a newly released graphic, they map out the new suggested range of Iran's missile capabilities. It's further than we all thought. And caught in the red zone is the south of England and London.
Okay. So I want to also say this. Now, this is extremely important. When you watch most mainstream news outlets, right, you have to remember that they're in the business of selling ads. So sensationalism keeps people locked on, keeps them from turning the channel. A lot of these news stations do more inflammation than information. Okay. I encourage you, don't go into a panic mode. Don't go into uh, an emotional mode when evaluating these world events. Okay. We talked about indexed strategies. Those assist you in sleeping at night, right? Because you know you're going to get that upside, you know you're going to get that market exposure, and you know you're going to have a floor to keep you from going into negative territory, right? So don't get tied up in the sensationalism. Evaluate these events as clinically as possible, because when people start to inject emotionalism into investing decisions, they usually do not turn out well. Those decisions, they usually result in people losing money. Folk panicked, a lot of folk panicked and sold during the COVID crisis. And that was a bad idea, because if they had stayed put or even purchased more, done their due diligence and purchased more of quality companies, they would have really made out big time. Okay. All right. So I just want to take a look at that. I'm Tyrone Keys. We'll have more for you soon.